Hey, yo, what's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? It's your boy Zarius, Esther Rivera, back again on the Sticks, Facts on Facts family. What is good? So today's gonna be a special fucking video because today we have a special guest. Unfortunately, I can't physically meet him right now, and it's not due to Corona or anything like that. It's just because he's in Cali, I'm here, and we just can't meet right now. But his name is Devante Wilson. He's a famous TikToker, extremely influential, extremely motivated, and extremely just determined to like spread a message of positivity, good vibes, and good energy. So, fun fact, he's actually doing Influence Me TV as well. So it's myself, him, and God knows how many other contestants. So without further ado, you guys thought I was capping because I made a Snapchat last night talking about it, but I'm about to call Devante Wilson right now. I'm about to FaceTime him and just just get into the mix. Let's do it. Dude, I'm actually super nervous right now. I'm actually really nervous, but let's just do it. Here we go, Devante Wilson. Yo, what's up, King?
Hola.
How you feeling?
I'm good. Just recording videos and stuff, getting some things done.
Yeah, because you're a fucking legendary man, that's why. Always working. So, my fans, they don't know who I'm talking to right now, but they already know because your voice. You're a very iconic person. You have a name in the fucking industry. Like, you're doing your shit, you're talking your shit, you're making shit happen. So,
Right.
What I want to ask you is, we're both involved with Influence Me TV, correct?
Yes.
And again, as I mentioned earlier, you have such a high status. So I have a few questions for you involving mental health. And the first one is just like, first off, how do you handle like your bad days with like anxiety, depression? I'm not saying you have depression or anxiety, but like when you feel like you have those tenseful moments, how do you handle those?
So really, obviously, just depends on the person, really. However, me, personally, all I pretty much do is just like think of, like all the people that are a part of my life that truly care about me, who fully support me and cheer on for me, regardless of any situation that I'm going through, whatever the case may be. They always try to bring me up in some way, somehow, shape or form, whatever the case may be. But then also just like waking up and like just talking to myself in the mirror, like, you're a bad bitch, you're unstoppable, you're incredible, nobody can touch you, nobody can say anything to you because you're on your shit, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then also just like having to do a lot of like meditation because I love meditating, and having to just be at peace somewhere where I know that it's like a safe space for me and it's like really, really calm, which is obviously like my home. Otherwise I would not be living here. I always want my home to be like my safe space, my calm space, things like that. And then also realizing that, just realizing that any hardships that I do go through in my life, it's majority of the time it's just temporary problems. I can easily fix it as long as I'm able to just sit down and actually have that conversation with myself and realize what's going on and figuring out how I can resolve those issues so that way I don't make those same mistakes again or relapse. And also just having to take my own advice with the videos that I make in the bathroom, the affirmation videos and stuff like that. So for me, it's quite simple. It was really hard for me to do in the beginning, just because I had no idea how to do it and what to do. But the more that I kept like doing it and like convincing myself like, hey, like, everything's gonna be okay, take your own advice, do this, do that, blah, 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 so on and so forth, meditate, or just even like having to distract myself by doing like certain hobbies, like doing like riddles or doing like math problems. Okay. I love numbers, so I love doing math, like, calculus or trigonometry, whatever. Or just simply just like hanging out with friends and just going out. Because a lot of the things that are like happening, that's like negative happening to me in like that moment, I like to be able to distract myself from that. And the more that I keep distracting myself from all like the negative things that's happening, the more that I tend to forget about it. And then eventually like I won't even think about it anymore. It won't even cross my mind. So
okay, bet in terms of that, when you say distraction, it's kind of like shoving it under the rug and just getting it out of your head and like not dealing with it, or like that you are dealing with it. It's just that you're putting it so far back in your head that it's not there.
So it's more so like, yes, I'm dealing with it. I acknowledge the situation that's happening, and I have that, once again, I have that conversation with myself and I deal with it and I figure out, a way for me to be able to resolve it. But once I figure out a way to be able to resolve it, I pretty much just do everything else to kind of like, like push that away. You know what I'm saying? Because now I know what to do. Now I'm aware of what's happening, how I'm able to resolve it, so that way I don't have to repeat the same thing again. and just to like really make sure like I forgot about it. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want to think about it. I do something to, help distract me from that situation.
Okay. So was there ever a time in your life where you felt like you just couldn't handle your anxiety or your depression or whatever the mental issue was alone? Like, was there ever a time in your life where it's like you couldn't do this alone? You had to have somebody.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I used to be like really suicidal. Actually, like a couple of years ago, like I was like ready to like, I was just like crying like one night. It was like super late or whatever, and I was just like on the top of my garage. This was in Arizona. I was like crying on top of the garage, and I was like, you know what? Like nobody cares about me. Nobody, wants to listen. This and that, blah blah blah. And I was posting like all over social media, and everyone was like trying to figure out like if I was okay. They were trying to check up on me and everything, and I did not want to answer to nobody. So I was just like, whatever. I was like literally like hanging off like the garage or whatever. It was 5 stories, by the way. I was hanging off of it like just my bare fingers. But then I started to realize like what I was doing, and I was like, what are you doing? So then, good thing I had upper body strength, and I pulled myself back up. And then actually like one of my friends, literally he saw my story of like me crying and stuff like that, and he literally called the cops and came over to my apartment with no money in his bank account, but still took the Uber anyway. He literally risked it, and he was just like checking up on me and stuff like that. Cops showed up at my door, and they were trying to figure out like, why was I doing this? Have I ever thought about doing this like prior to that? And I was like, yes. And then I ended up going to a mental health facilitation clinic because of it. I really had no choice. They gave me a choice. But
no, I know how that goes. They gave you a choice, but not
they
really.
gave me a choice. They basically said, okay, so we can give you a choice. Either you go to the mental health facilitation clinic, you can volunteer to go there, or you can refuse to go, but we're going to make you go, but it's going to stay on your record. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want that on my record, so I'm just go. So they gave me a choice, but not really. But I ended up going, and then I realized, like, wow, like, this is what it feels like to be here. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, I literally felt uncomfortable. There was, like, so many people that were, like, screaming and shouting and, talking to things.
And it's like, this is not who I am. Like, I definitely
fit
into this.
It was like Orange is the New Black, but with blue.
Yeah.
I was not feeling it, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so bad. And then ever since that day, like, I just started, like, working on myself more and my mental health, and that was like right before I actually started TikTok. And then ever since TikTok, like just building up this community who have, who relate to me in the ways that they can best relate to me. And just realizing that I'm not alone in the situation, which made me feel a whole lot better. And it made me want to become a better person and not having to deal with those or having to relapse in those situations anymore like I used to before I started TikTok. And then it just inspired me to like help other people who are also going through the same problems, who felt the same way, so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't even have those thoughts anymore, honestly.
Yeah, you're not like, I've never heard or saw anything negative about you. So it's like, he's really out there trying to do his thing, like live his best life. And you seem so very positive and genuine. I know there's like a saying where it goes like, oh, the happiest people tend to be the most like depressed or upset. And do you feel like that's the case for you sometimes, or like you're generally in a happier place now? Like you barely get those thoughts.
I'm genuinely happy. I mean, obviously, like we all have emotions. We all go through some shit. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's like nothing big like it used to be. It wasn't anything like major. It was just like, oh, like something bad happened, but it was like nothing like too big or too serious or too major. So I was just like, oh, okay. It was like one of those things where I could just easily get over it in like a couple minutes, whatever. But other than that, like I'm generally happy. I'm doing a whole bunch of things that I've always wanted to do before I started TikTok, like me being on commercials and being on TV shows. And then my clothing line is booming right now. And then, living in like, one of my dream places, I'm living in a penthouse, and just like, now I'm helping my mom like pay her bill. I actually paid off her bills actually. And honestly, just like minding my own business and living my best life, honestly. So I'm like genuinely happy, and like, I don't have any problems actually.
Okay. I think that for me personally, it's like, I don't know how my mind is wired. I think a million different things, and all those thoughts that I think, they literally like intersect with each other. So I can never find a clear path, especially in terms of my anxiety. Like I can control it, but when something triggers it, I can't control it. Like I have to allow myself to like feel my emotions. So like if I'm super heated, sometimes it makes me a negative person because I'll like snap at the wrong person, and it's so unintentional, but it only happens because, again, it's like, I'm a very prideful person. Like I have to feel. If I don't feel, then my feelings don't get recognized. And if somebody else is not going to recognize my feelings, then I have to recognize them for myself. You know what I mean? And I'm not the best at giving advice to younger people. So what do you think, or how, I don't even know how to say this. For teens that are like 14 to 17 that are going through some type of mental issue, what is your best advice to them? Like to get through something? Because a lot of these kids, they
my
can't.
best advice, especially because like I used to go through it at the same time as well. My best advice is having to figure out like who your real friends are, because that also, you know, your friends also influence you and they make a really big impact in your life. And I know that can be really, really hard because especially like in school, like high school, middle school, high school specifically, a lot of people like to do things because they want to be cool and all this other stuff. But just having, once again, just having to mind your own business and just do what you're supposed to do, like go to school, get your papers done, you know what I'm saying, turn them in, get good grades, and then make it into high school, get your diploma, and go to college if you want to, and then get a good job or whatever it is that you want to do. And then that's it, you know, peace out, A-Town down, you feel me? But what I typically tell people that actually helped me that I used to do, I forgot to mention this, was that I used to get like a piece of paper and I used to fold it like on hot dog style. And I used to write on one side, like good things that happened in my life that I can remember. And the other side is like the bad things that happened in my life that I can remember. Now, if the bad things outweigh the good things that happen in your life, then something is obviously wrong and you need to get in touch with yourself and figure out those things. So that way, you know, you can feel a lot more at peace with yourself and not having to be stuck or having to relapse into the same things happening over and over again. Because at the end of the day, if you don't figure out what's happening and why it's happening, if you don't come to, you know, resolving those issues, then it's going to keep happening. But if you have the good that outweighs the bad, that's great. But still, you want to be able to pay attention to everything that was bad, that was happening in your life, and still try to figure out what was happening. And still try to resolve those issues. But other than that, never forget about the good stuff that's happening, because obviously, like, those are the moments that you obviously cherish. Those are the moments that you really appreciate a lot more. And never forget, you know, all the bad stuff that happened either, because once again, if you forget, then you relapse, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, forgive yourself, you know, if it's something that you've done to yourself, or forgive the people that did something bad to you that, you know, it's just stuck in your head or whatever the case may be. But do it for you, don't do it for them. Because if you're just doing it for them and you're not doing it for yourself, then you're still going to be like just super upset, you know, depressed, unhappy, and figure everything out and just try to like live your best life at the end of it as soon as you start resolving it and become more at peace with everything. So.
Yeah. I definitely feel like for teens, it's definitely like they have to find their own truth, because like society does make it hard in terms of like the mental health and like anxiety, like that's viewed as you being weak or you being weird or different. So it's like these teens have to put on a persona. They have to act differently to have that card of being cool or being that one, you feel me? So it's like you don't talk about your feelings and all the emotions build up and it leads to another thing, and then it leads to like, you know, drug overdoses and violence and just a lot of negative aspects to one's life. And it's like, you know, if people had an outlet, if people had a program, something that was true, something that was genuine, something that like Americans or just people in general actually like related to and actually wanted to take time to invest in, I feel like we would definitely be in a different position in terms of like mental health and how advanced you could be with it.
Right, exactly. And also your parents have a really big part in your life too, because that's who you live with, obviously. So like that's the best relationship that you can possibly have. But besides your friends, like your parents, it's who you live with, that's who's raising you and stuff like that. So it's best if you just like open up to your parents. And I know that can be kind of scary sometimes, because you feel like, you know, like you're always overthinking, you're always thinking about like, you know, maybe they're gonna say like, oh, like I'm just overreacting, or like just be completely dismissive of whatever situation that you're going through. But the thing is, at least take a chance in having to talk to your parents and just sit them down and let them know that it's a serious conversation, because then they can actually, you know, they can tell when you're actually being serious and like, okay, like this is a serious conversation, you know, my son or daughter or they, whatever, wants to, you know, try to get through this, so I'm going to try my best to help them out. But even then, sometimes like having to talk to somebody who is completely random, someone you've never ever seen before, can even also give you the best advice as well, which is very relatable to a lot of people. It's hard, but the more that you are in tune with yourself and then having to talk to people to make sure that you can get some sort of information, it gets easier as you get older and you start to experience life a lot more. So, I mean, it really just all depends on the person. It's very different. So,
I just want to say, yo, I appreciate you taking the time to actually like answer this call and hop on this little vlog or Zoom, whatever you want to call it. I genuinely appreciate it. Are you excited for Influence Me TV?
Oh yeah, of course. Even if I don't get it, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is an opportunity. So, because, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But once again, I'm here to, do what I do best. And even if I don't get it, hey, that just means that something bigger is for me. So,
Yeah, you can't look at the
negative.
negative.
You got to take a chance at life. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I definitely like that. You can't be negative in this life. You always have to see something as an opportunity. It's not like a loss. It's it's a lesson.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
But no, I'm definitely hella excited because this is like my first actual like big time thing in terms of that, and like I don't even know how I'm gonna like pop off, but I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely trying to be like more motivated in terms of that. I just got to get out of this little shell or this little headspace that I'm in to actually grind and push. But last thing I want to say to you before I actually let you go is I want you to give us one of your little motivational speeches, man. I want some energy in that, please. I gotta hear it, Devante. I gotta hear it.
As far as what specifically?
Whatever you feel is best, bro. You know what? About being in a good mindset. About being in a good mindset. Let's go.
Let's be here. Okay. Alright. Bitch, I don't care if you're over here being all depressed, eating a fucking tube of ice cream. Bitch, get your ass up out of bed, look in the fucking mirror, and tell yourself, bitch, I am that bitch. I'm unstoppable. I'm untouchable. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say, bitch. Because I have really good ideas and I have bright ideas, and I'm going to execute those motherfucking ideas, bitch, period. I don't give a fuck what you have to say, because you know what? You're over here sitting on the bench trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing while I'm over here sitting over here, living my best life, minding my own business, doing what I do best. You know what I'm saying? Because you're over here working at McDonald's, and I'm over here making $1 million in 2 seconds. Hello. Period.
Talk your shit. Devante Wilson, guys. Again, thank you so much, bro. I hope I see you on Influence Me TV, like physically, bro. I'm gonna try my best. And honestly, again, thank you so much for being a part of this, this little journey or whatever. And hopefully we talk again soon. Hopefully we link soon. But with that being said, man, stay blessed and thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Be easy. Bruh. Fucking Devante Wilson. You guys saw it first here. He's a king. He's amazing. With that being said, hey, we keep the journey going. We out here!